In Psalms 91, it says, "He that dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress. My God, in Him will I trust. Surely He shall deliver me from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with His feathers, and under His wings shalt you trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler." And 5 and 6 says, "Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flies by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday." Let me read this again in another version. "Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. Surely He will save you from the fowler's snare and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart. You will not fear the terror of night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in the darkness, nor the plague that destroys at midday." I want to say something here. Some things, guys, you have to realize God will protect you. God is our fortress. God is our shield. But it's important that you're obedient. When you are out, and I'm telling people this, how do I say this? I don't know how to say this, but it is a dangerous thing to be out late at night. Go home. Do the things that you need to do, guys, but bring yourself into your home before dark or not too late. I'm not telling you that you cannot live your life and you cannot do the things that, I'm not saying as soon as the sun goes down, just scurry in the house. That's not what I'm saying. But this lifestyle of partying and being out, leaving the house 9, 10 o'clock, being out there, guys, I want you to understand that at nighttime, there is just what the Word of God is talking about. The terror and the pestilence. At nighttime, and the later it gets, it's like the Walking Dead comes out. This is a time where, yes, there's a mix of people who are just out having a good time, but then there are people who have ill intentions that are out. And the later it gets, the higher your chances of running into these type of individuals. They sleep all day, but they rise at night and they look for mischief. I thank God that He saved me. When I look back at my days of partying, I love to go out. I love to hang out. I remember being young, and by that time I had left home, and literally when I'm going out on the weekends, I'm starting to get ready about 9:30-ish. If not 9:30 is when I'm probably just gathering my things. And it's just starting to get dressed about 10 p.m. And probably leaving my house at 11:30 at night to go somewhere and hang out till 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. And I remember one time having hung out. I was in Georgia and I was partying, and all the clubs had to close by 2 or 2:30, I believe. And I remember me and my friends, we partied till 2, and then we got in the car and we drove 20 minutes across the state line to South Carolina to go party until the sun came up, because their club stayed open longer. And we were partying. And I remember the sun coming up. I remember being tired. I remember going out and seeing, well, the sun wasn't coming up quite yet, but it was dawn. It was early. And I did this over and over in different places wherever I went. When I was in Europe, I was partying there. Going into this huge club in Europe. It has like 5 different types of clubs in this huge building. So you go over here for techno, go over there for reggae, go over here for salsa, go down here just for contemporary, and just partying. And I was like addicted to that. I loved the scene. But I was always in danger, guys. And I'm thankful for God's grace and mercy that my life was not taken, that I was not drugged, that I was not hit by drunk drivers, because there are lots of drunk drivers that are out at those hours. There are a lot of shady characters. And guys, as we move further and further, as the people that are out, and that level of evil had to have been around. The level of evil that we're seeing today, it was always there, guys. But what happens as we're getting closer and closer to the return of the Lord, and as people become more evil, this level of evil that we're seeing, the wickedness that we're seeing, it's like unleashing on the earth, because the devil knows that his time is short. And because his time is short, he's up the ante, and the level of evil is being unleashed now. And I want to just encourage you guys that the times now is different, because evil is higher. It's become more desperate. The enemy is like a roaring lion seeking whom he may devour. If you have to go to work, you have to go to work. Some people work at night. You're going to work. You pray for God's protection. You go into your job. But there's people who leave their house seeking mischief. There are people who getting out there and they stay out late and they're in the scene and they're in the know and they're doing this and they're hanging out. There's people that leave their house to do whatever they're doing under the cloak of darkness. But I want you to understand, guys, that these are days where there's so much that you can do in the day. There's so much that you could do up to even 8 or 9 o'clock at night. You know, if you're going out to eat, you're going out to dinner. These are the normal things that you do. You go out with your family somewhere, guys, but you need to use wisdom. And these things of just venturing out late, hanging out late, leaving the house at a certain time. Understand that why there's so many things that happen at night and so many things that happen between 1 and 3 a.m. in the morning is because there's a different level of evil that is out during those times, during those hours. A level of evil that certain type of individuals who have dark intentions are out during those times. The terror is out there at night. That's why people lock their doors, because there are people who they wait for things to get dark to do the things that they have been fantasizing about or plotting and planning. Young people, listen to your parents. I can't tell you enough. You think your mom and dad don't know what they're talking about. They do. Some of you may say, well, you did it. Exactly. That's why they can tell you not to do it. They know. And their days and when they were growing up and the days you're growing up in now are completely different. There's a higher chance of something terrible happening to you than what it was for your parents. Young ladies, listen to your mothers, listen to your fathers, listen to what they have to tell you. You may think that your parents are the worst parents and they made mistakes, but nevertheless, they're still your parents. You may think, oh, well, you don't know what you're talking about. You did this, you did that. You may not say it. Some of you do, and some of you think it. But the thing is, even a parent who makes mistake, God can still use them to tell you the right thing, because the position that they're in, he can place it in their heart to tell you. You may even have a friend that would normally be up to all the antics and stuff with you, telling you, hey, don't do this. Because whatever behaviors you continue to do, you're going to end up running into somebody. There may be things that God may protect you from for quite a bit of time, for years. You may be hanging out with a person who wants to do something evil, but the grace of God has been with you and not allowed it to happen. If you continue to go out there, you continue to sneak out, you continue to do the things that you've known to do. You know how to sneak out. You know how to leave the window cracked. You know how to do this. You know how to leave the back door unlocked. You will eventually open that window and that back door to the terror. Because every time you do something wrong, you have to understand the dark and evil fallen angels are all over the face of this planet. But God gives you grace that this does not happen to you, that certain things does not happen. You can be hanging around a person who's been fantasizing about dismembering you. You don't know that. And God keeps you safe. But if you keep pushing the boundaries and still keep going out, you're going to face the pestilence. You're going to face that terror that's out at night. You may not believe it. You may scoff it. You may scorn it. That happens with people. They've been doing stuff for so long and getting away with it that this type of talk sounds silly. It sounds crazy. Oh, none of this is happening. But look at your world. Look at what's going on. Stop leaving your houses late, guys. Going out there and getting into things. There's so many things that you could do during regular hours. You can do so much, but we're just in times now. You know, back in the days, people would be in their houses. When we used to go out and play, I was growing up in Brooklyn. Even before that, when I was in Jamaica, we'll hang out, but we're in the house at a certain time. When it's dark, you're inside your house. Every now and then you go and, your neighbors are talking to each other at the gate, but they're crossing, the neighbor across the street will cross and talk to each other at the gate at the front. I remember that growing up in Jamaica. Everybody will talk at the gate, but pretty much people are in their own house. They may go from their house and go across the street to the neighbor's house to talk at the gate for a little bit, but people are inside of their homes. Then when I was growing up in New York, we were outside playing, doing all these different things. But when the street light came on, we knew we had to go inside. That was just something. That was just a rule. The street lights come on, boom. We all run inside. We all go upstairs. Okay? But nowadays, things are so different. And people are running out. Can't wait to get out. Can't wait to go sleep here. Can't wait to go sleep over there. Can't wait to go do that. And I'm going to this friend's house. And kids are just walking out. Kids, stay in your home. Do the things that you need to do. There's plenty that you could do with your friends. Plenty that you could do. And be in your home. When dusk starts to hit, go home. Partying is fun. Hanging out is fun. But understand that every single time that you are doing this, and we don't think about it because we're having such a good time. But the times are different. There's a totally different demographic of people who come out after midnight. There's a totally different demographic that's out between the hours of 11 and about 3:30, 4 a.m. And they go out there to do wrong and to do evil. So when you're in these environments and you're having a good time and you're getting drunk and you're getting high and whatever you're doing and you have such a good time and everything is dark and this person looks so cute and all this stuff, just know the pestilence is there. The pestilence is in that environment. The pestilence waits in the parking lot. The pestilence is on the highway, snatching up souls left and right. And each and every time that you are spared, thank God for that. But eventually, you keep going out there, you're going to cross somebody. You're going to cross somebody. And ironically, sometimes the person who will become your terror will not be a stranger, but the person you've always been traveling with, getting in a car with. The pestilence was always within them. The terror was always within them, but it was always been the grace of God that kept that from happening. But God cannot overstate. God cannot and will not. I think He can if you want to, but He will not force you to obey Him. Use wisdom. This message is not to bring fear, but to let you understand that the darker it gets, the later it gets, the more evil the atmosphere becomes. Dark and evil individuals surfaces. So be careful. Be careful. And children, as I said, obey your parents. All right, guys, God bless.